Hello, IronBill, Too Old to Grind, here with a video on my PvP play. This is nothing to brag about, and disclaimer, I am not a very good player, but with Gambit coming, we have to give it the try, don't we? So I'm using this opportunity to set up and test new weapons. I'm running some Huckleberry, which is a gun I've really not used a lot, Martyr's Make, which is something I've not used in a long time, and Play of the Game, which is a grenade launcher. And I've never used really a grenade launcher in Crucible before, so this should be an experience. So early in the match here, it's of course the feeling out period, and something I struggle with as a player is deciding when to rush and when not to. So I take the first few seconds of a match to determine what kind of team you're against, because if you're against really high quality players, of course you get swarmed right away, and yeah, you have a problem. Of course, the obvious thing to do is to go for the heavy ammo, but I tend to stray off by myself quite a bit. I do here, and this is my first test of the Huckleberry. Now, the thing that's going to be repeated throughout here is every time I use this, I'm having a hard time controlling it because I've just really never used submachine guns in the past. And you see right there, had I landed my first few shots, I might have killed that person. However, it was a team shot situation with two players firing on me, and that's because I stupidly put myself in that place. So wrapping around here, I'm eyeballing the heavy, both right and left. The left has been pulled. I move back towards the right. It's been pulled, but at least by one of our own players. Decide to wrap around with them for just a moment to see what they attempt to do. There's the radar. We catch somebody on. I put a few rounds into him in melee, which is probably the right thing to do, although a few more rounds landing would have helped. And then I notice another player, and there we go. And that's a case of two of their players getting overly aggressive and getting pinched. I'm about to get snapped by the third player, so I move around to recover. Move back up the center, and I'm looking for angles here to help my teammates, because if we all stand in the same place, we're just all going to die together. And once again, I probably should have put a few more rounds into that player before the melee starts. I'm running a Voidwalker setup, and I've put some mods into my armor to help boost my Void regen on melee kills, which is why I'm trying so hard to do it. Not only that, I'm working on trying to be more aggressive in some 1v1 situations and get up in the face of other players. Now, note there's a player to our left who just grabbed heavy, and here you go. I ignored him, and the inevitable happens. Three of us get rocket launched right there on the stairwell. It was kind of a stupid play on my part because I could have defended that. Situational awareness is a real problem here too. So as we move along here, I've got somebody down here. I've got him lined up, and then my teammate decides that I need to shoot him in the back instead, and that of course takes away the potential kill I had. I move down and do not react in time, and the second shield goes up, which is fine. I think I'll back up and bait him out, and he chooses not to follow. So I'll drop down again and peek it again, because not much is happening, but I know there's more than one back there, so I'm not going in. And try once again to bait him. He does not come out, so I'm going to try a third time, and then think the better of it and move on around, because the radar has shifted. They have to be somewhere. So my teammates are going up the center. Heavy pops. Why not? Here comes my first grenade launcher attempt with Play of the Game. And I dare say it winds up being pretty laughable. And he's pretty far off. This is not the colony. You can't just lob it in the general direction and hope for the best. Then I do a second stupid. I hit my own teammate with one, but that was a perfect shot, which primes me for the third, and I nail that guy. So I guess you could say I learned fast, but then I throw one short again here in just a moment. I haven't quite figured out the range of this weapon, and I don't get much of a chance to try in this round. That's really just too far away. I should have been a lot more aggressive with that. So it's a close match, and once again I'm trying for an angle off to the side. I have two players there. I'm going to get pinched. I know it, so I go ahead and super that guy. and kind of back up because I figure there's probably a 2v1 situation. There were two guys on their side that always travel together. If I could catch the one, and that was a Crimson, and a good play on that guy's part, typically I could win the 1v1s if I could keep my range about right. There was one person running a Crimson and another running a Vigilant Swing, and I managed to run into both of them. So here we go. I know we have a player there. I'm going to wrap around the right side, and this was the right thing to do, although I did it very clumsily. You notice barely a shot landed on him, but the melee fortunately worked. Back up. Reload. I think I could like the Huckleberry, but you do have to be close, and I stepped right into the hammer, and the bad part is I heard it and stepped out there anyway, and that's just my old man reflexes. So as we move out here, I'm going to look around here to the left, and I'm going to see a person jump, and we'll try it again. There are two of them. I know I cannot win that fight, so I back out, jumping across. Our heavy is up here. They're going to charge it, but we've got a guy here, so I'm going to defend it. Now I should have gotten out of here because my teammates left me, but I did not. And so there are those two players that I was talking about earlier who were running together. Coming back across. And I see that we've got a player over there who just died, and that player's running back, so definitely trouble down here. They've grabbed the heavy, but they come across one at a time. And at this distance, the Martyr's Make does a pretty good job. It's a 600 RPM auto rifle. It doesn't have great range, though. And that's probably on the very edge of what it can do. My setup here really is pretty much a close to mid-range setup with the Huckleberry and the Martyr's Make. The thing about Martyr's Make, though, is it does effectively have what Destiny 1 guns would call glass half full, so the second half of the magazine is actually better than the front. Now I stepped through his shield and it kills me, but he did not get the power ammo. And you notice the power ammo still has not been pulled, so my teammates defended it even if I died, so more or less mission accomplished. Okay, now coming back across, and I think this is where I wind up seeing the two players jump across together again. No. Catch this guy. And can't finish him off. I am just so awful. Can't make the jump. He gets around. And now watch this. Instead of using my machine gun to kill this guy, I decide to walk up and melee him, and then his buddy grenades me. And that was a dumb play. I got the kill, but it was a dumb play. There's a fellow up there. Two fellows, actually, I think. And they toss a grenade, so I bug out just in time. And then here's the Vigilant Swing guy. Now I'm playing at his range, so he's going to win that fight every time. The drop off on the Martyr's Make is too great to try to have that contest. And here he is again. Now he makes a kind of a bad tether here, and I put enough heat on him that he backs off. I'm clear of it, decide to kill him with a Nova Bomb, and then I throw a boneheaded. I pulled it too far left, and I can't hit this guy to save my life. Until the end, which I finally get him, and then there's another Vigilant Swing behind me. And at this point, they've taken the lead. It's looking like we are going to actually lose this. And you notice I haven't thrown a grenade in a while. I never put down a rift. There are my two buddies. I put damage on both, hoping to get some help from teammates, but I melee one to death, and that's that. So we are all tied up at 40. I'll load it up, move towards the heavy to defend it, and I get blasted by two guys working together. And unfortunately, they wind up getting it. Now, I like how the Martyr's Make feels in my hand, you know, and I eventually will begin to settle down with it if I use it a bunch, but That range issue is going to be something. If I'm going to play at these distances, I really need to have a scout rather than the Huckleberry. And that would have balanced it out a little bit better. Nameless Midnight really isn't bad in a situation like this, because this is almost a Bannerfall type situation where you've got a lot of long lanes, and could have affected right there, for instance. I just can't put enough hurt on him from there. Okay, so I see the super there and decide to follow up. We are up by 1 at this point, and then we go into tie at this point. We're in overtime. Now there's Hammer. I cannot stay there. I've already taken a little bit of a nick. If I keep going straight back, he's going to get me, so I pull through here and grab a couple of orbs and hope to build towards a super. Unfortunately, overtime does not last that long. And I'm trying to bait this corner again, drop a grenade. It's not working. These guys aren't going for it. I'm not going to step around there into a 2v1. And that had Vigilance Wing written all over it, so we wind up with a tie. Well, that was very uninteresting play, I'm sure, but for you new guys who might be unwilling to try this, I would say just get out and give it a shot. Who knows what could happen. This is IronBill, Too Old to Grind, signing off.